Welcome to Console Crapshoot, where we spin a wheel to play a random video game on original hardware. Last week was a bit of a misstep, but it's fine. We've been getting a lot of good games lately, and sometimes bad games are just as fun, if not funner, than good games, as long as they're not too often. Nice, we've got the Gamecube. This one's definitely up there as one of my favorites. I don't think we've played the Gamecube since episode 3, so it's been a while, and we've got 552 games on the wheel for the Gamecube. Whoa, that is an insane coincidence. We just did Mario 64 2 episodes ago, which, that was crazy, and then the odds of us getting Super Mario Sunshine 2 episodes later, it probably looks like I prearranged this, but I promise you I don't. It's the beauty of the random wheel. You know, I was a big GameCube guy, I got it on launch day, I had a lot of games for it, but you know how sometimes there's just those games that just get by you? Games you've always meant to play, main games that everyone else played that you just never got around to? Super Mario Sunshine was that for me. I was very much into Mario 64. I was into Mario Galaxy after it, but Super Mario Sunshine is just one of those games, it got by me and I never played it, and I always wanted to, so this is an awesome random spin for me today. I don't know if I ever would have got around to it if not for this wheel. So I know this game is a bit of a point of contention for Nintendo fans. Some absolutely love it, some people can't stand it, so I'm interested in finding out for myself. I do know that the main crux of this game is that it revolves around a bit of a gimmick, and that's this water tank blaster pack thing on Mario's back. From what I can tell though, the basic structure of it is very much like Mario 64. Sure, you have your differences and your gimmicks, and it's definitely prettier. It's a lot prettier. But there's still all these separated worlds that connect to this main hub world, and you go around doing separate missions in each world to get stars, or in this case, shines. But it's basically the same as Mario 64 in that regard. I'll tell you my first impressions right off the bat, even 20 years later, I feel like the graphics hold up. Like the water effects look really nice. Sure, water effects are nicer now, of course, but this is pretty. It's pretty to look at. It still looks really good. My other main takeaway, at least initially, is the controls. Not a fan. I do not like the way Mario feels. I don't like the way aiming the water spout thing. It's called the flood. I don't like the way aiming the flood feels. And the controls just in general feel really inconsistent. I'm not going to claim to just be awesome at these kind of games. I make mistakes. But I feel like a lot of this is the game and not me. Like, I'm not landing where I'm supposed to land. It just doesn't feel right. When you do land where you're supposed to land, you just keep sliding off of things. Take this little obstacle course bonus stage, for instance. I died so much on this thing. I counted, I think I died 11 times. This is a really short level. It's not that hard. It looks easy. And I'll take the blame. Maybe 4 out of those 11 times were legit my fault failing. But the rest of them felt like the game failing me. I felt like I wasn't in control of Mario. Not only that, but I feel like at this stage in 3D platforming, in 3D games, we had kind of the control scheme figured out, but this game has the right analog stick, which is essentially the camera stick, reversed. It's inverted, so it's kind of going the wrong way, and my brain is telling me to go the other way, and it's really confusing, and you can't change it in the options menu, and I kind of hate it. A Mario game, if anything, should have really tight controls. It should be dialed in and not sloppy, and I feel like this might be a little sloppy. Also, I feel like most Mario games, even the 3D ones, it's very intuitive. You know, you just kind of feel out what you have to do next, and with this one, I'm having a hard time with that. Maybe I'm just bad, but that's a thought I'm having. Some of these early boss battles are fun. This one's really cool. Others are a little too simplistic and easy, but the other odd thing I'm noticing is that sometimes the camera's a little weird. Sometimes it goes through walls and you can just see your character as a shadow behind the wall. It's really disorienting and very unlike a Nintendo game of this era. While I'm frustrated with it a lot of the time and I have to keep putting it down, I'm also having a lot of fun with it at the same time, if that makes sense. I like when Nintendo takes chances. They don't just do the obvious thing. They didn't just make a Mario 64 2 with better graphics. They did something weird. It's just not dialed in enough. I feel like it needed a little more time in the oven. I played a lot further than what I'm showing here because I stopped capturing. It's a long game, but I did not as of yet beat it. I think I'm going to keep playing this one slowly at my own pace, but for the sake of this episode, I think I have enough information to go on to give a rating to Super Mario Sunshine for the Nintendo GameCube. Look, if you're like me and you never got around to playing this, I recommend playing it, but I think for me, this is a 4 out of 5. It's a great game, but I want to say it's a low 4. I almost gave it a 3, and to me, a 3 is not bad. A 3 is just a good game, so it would be a high 3 if anything, but I realize some of my feelings might be my own limitations as far as my patience, but even if you love this game and you grew up with it, you gotta admit, it does lack the polish of what came later with Super Mario Galaxy and Galaxy 2, or honestly, even Mario 64 for its time. For where we were in game design at that time, the polish was impeccable. I'm very familiar with this generation of games that Mario Sunshine came out, and I don't know if the polish is there, at least at Nintendo levels that it should be. So this is a low 4 out of 5 for me. I'm sure some of you would disagree, and this is a really polarizing game from what I understand, so some of you might think I rated it too high. I don't necessarily think that, but it just has more flaws from what I'd come to expect from this series. But what did you think of Super Mario Sunshine? I'm sure there's a lot of opinions of it. Feel free to let me know in the comments. And yeah, another good luck spin on the wheel this week. Carl's doing good, we're eating well, and let's see what happens next time. See you then.